What's going on, everyone? Happy Monday. Hope you're doing well, and welcome to my channel. My name is Julian. My channel, I talk about crypto, the markets, what's going on, and today I just want to cover a bit state of crypto summer 2022 and discuss a bit on what's happening in the markets. Are we seeing a bottom? Yeah, obviously, from my point of view, I'm the CEO, co-founder of Cake DeFi, a CeFi platform that connects a lot of DeFi on the back end. And so over the past weeks, there was quite some turbulence in the crypto markets because of platforms that did something similar as we are doing. However, they're not transparent about that, and we are completely transparent. And so that's why we had zero issues. We actually, over the past couple of weeks, seen massive customer influx, massive fund influx, because people just shied away from other platforms who are, who didn't do such a good job as we have been doing. And my co-founder Julian, he had this talk for our third Cake anniversary, which was the beginning of June, and he said, when we started 3 years ago, no one cared about transparency. Now everyone does. I thought that was such a good quote. So what I want to cover are maybe a couple of topics to discuss a bit on what markets are caring about and what markets don't care about. So let's start maybe with the less important things, and that is technical analysis, blockchain analysis, whale watching, all the fancy schmancy stuff that generally influencers, magazines, news articles, news outlets love to talk about. It's so great to talk about because it's so astrology-like. You have this is what's happening to these averages, and this is what this parameter shows, and there's so much blah blah blah. But at the end, there's so many false positives, so many false negatives, and what is crazy in Singapore is how rude people are in changing lanes. Very few cities, very few places where you have so much. Well, you have people who just don't let you change lanes. I don't know how this is in your city. I always feel Singapore is incredible when it comes to that. They don't let you change lanes. For some reason, they always feel like, I need to be ahead of you. So technical analysis, blockchain analysis, these parameters have been super bullish for the past weeks already. But the reason is just that the technical analysis or the chart doesn't know what's happening in the real world, right? So the chart only talks about the past and refers past behavior to right now. But that doesn't mean that just because a behavior resembles something from the past, that the reason we see this again is because of very similar cause and effect. It could be totally different, just as it is right now. In the entire existence of crypto, we have never seen such a hawkish Fed. We haven't. So it's impossible for any of those parameters to predict what the Fed is going to do. And the same obviously applies to general markets in a sense, crypto markets as a whole. So that is why I don't really pay attention to those parameters. They maybe influence my decision making by 1%, and probably that 1% is too much. So just a bit of to kind of give some color to that. So that is that part. The other part, obviously, when we get a bit into the crypto kind of native ecosystem, we've seen a lot of dominoes fall over the past couple of weeks, and personally I do think we are not going to see many more dominoes fall at the moment. I think that was kind of it. The exception could be if crypto goes down another 50% from here, but then the question obviously becomes what would be that trigger to go down 50%, and we can talk about a few triggers. I would see maybe two that could really see some kind of sell-offs. But then the entire story comes again, because I would assume that at current prices, a lot of players are actually going to be quite leveraged because they see quite some possibilities for crypto going up. And so it's just like the 3 Arrows story, that where they went and they were extremely leveraged at Bitcoin above 20,000, and then the price didn't hold, and they completely went belly up. So these are, this could happen. But as a whole, I don't think many players are going to have some issues right now. Cake has zero. With zero, let's say 0.1% of our entire fund as a kind of exposure and we need that 0.1% or something for liquidity. There's no way around it because we need to have some exposure. Otherwise, our fund flow is way too slow. But it's such a tiny amount. Maybe it's even less than 0.1%. So I would say it's zero exposure to any other institution at the moment, any other firm. We play extremely cautious. Yeah, I think that's good that we do it this way. And then, yeah, we are, when we launch two other things, one is the multi-chain kind of approach. We have more and more chains, and then we're launching an earn product where you're going to get some really nice returns on Bitcoin, on dollars, on Ethereum via DeFi protocols. That's going to be quite cool. So that's going to open a lot of doors and completely transparently. So we're going to put a big focus on that. What could be those two triggers, though, that could make markets go down? Well, one is, let's see how all these liquidations now are going. We have seen, obviously, Celsius being insolvent, 3 Arrows having issues. A lot of firms right now, they are in insolvency. And the question then becomes, what happens to those assets? Are they going to get sold off? We have, obviously, the same story with Mt. Gox that's going to come up now mid-August. A lot of questions around that, and obviously that could be a strong sell-off, and that could trigger even more sell-offs. So that is one. The other one is miners. So miners, especially in Bitcoin, have been shown that they have to be selling right now. They are not profitable. Very few are profitable. So we see massive selling pressure from miners. So these would be probably the two major kind of focus points in selling in crypto. Other than that, I think most participants are probably neutral. I don't see much buying at these levels. I don't see much selling other than those the miners, and then obviously the maybe those that actually have to sell. I don't think people are selling right now if they don't have to sell, and I don't think people are buying unless they really kind of see something from a trend perspective. So that's kind of the larger kind of picture here. So that's kind of the crypto space, very inherently. And then when we talk about general markets, obviously we have the entire Ukraine conflict. I hope that this is not getting worse. I hope it is being resolved step by step. Difficult to judge, difficult to gauge, because sometimes we see these stories that it's going to make it worse. Sometimes it's going to get better. Obviously now there's some stories sometimes with Taiwan where there seems to be some weapon deliveries to Taiwan. That's quite scary. But I do hope that both Ukraine doesn't get escalated even worse and Taiwan doesn't even come up. This would be really kind of a worst case scenario as a whole. The more relevant topic obviously is inflation numbers. I do think people here have kind of been expecting high numbers with the 9.1% that came out. So I don't think people were too shocked about it. The market didn't really react all too crazy about it. And now obviously in 10 days we have Fed numbers. Fed deciding over interest rates, target rates, and it's quite some time now until the next adjustment, which is going to happen in September. So the interesting one here obviously is, are we going to see 0.75, what the Fed has indicated, or actually the market now is even expecting 1%. The question really is, what could this be and what could this trigger? I do think if we see 1%, that the market would sell off, not maybe aggressively, but would definitely have a sell-off, simply because the market has priced in 0.75. But I don't think it would be too unexpected, and that's also why I think a lot of people are like really prepared for that. The interesting thing though is, right, if we look at all those, the real question has to be, what would have to happen at these prices, at these levels, for things to happen to be unexpected? Because that always matters most, right? It's not so much about negative stuff happening. If this negative stuff is already priced in, nothing happens to the prices. So because the prices come from supply and demand, and those get a lot of it is kind of a prediction. So I don't think obviously any kind of negative news now around a crypto firm would trigger that. Obviously massive selling on the miners, sure. Massive liquidations, sure. 1% end of July, I'm not sure how much that would have an effect, to be honest, right? Recession coming in, I mean, we are all kind of expecting that we already are in a recession, just the official data hasn't come out yet. So I don't know. I don't know if any of that has actually some massive impact. CPI numbers, Fed rates, recessions, I don't think that's all too crazy. So anyone who's talking about that we may find a bottom in all of this right now, I think it's not too far off, to be fair. Sure, maybe housing comes down. That's obviously a scary one. But other than that, I think these are interesting prices to start thinking about going into other assets other than cash again. I've been very overexposed into cash, and these are prices where I would start looking into rebalancing a bit. That doesn't mean, again, I just want to be very clear, it doesn't mean that prices are going to go up or prices are going to go down. It's just it starts the probabilities, in my opinion, start kind of really averaging out. So this is just where I'm standing with all this. So interesting week ahead. Actually interesting 10 days ahead, especially towards the Fed meeting. Let me know if you have any questions, specific points, and then this is just what I'm seeing at the moment. Quite a balanced view right now. Some are in general a bit more cautious and a bit calmer. So wishing you a really great week. I'm going for an interview right now where I need to discuss exactly that. So I wish you a beautiful day and all the best in the meantime. Thank you all. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.